thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy Sunday to come and voice your concerns about our community. So my wife and I, when we settled in this area, I don't think I need to expound on this, but this is a beautiful neighborhood. This neighborhood truly is a gem in Queens. And the last couple months, the relative tranquility of this neighborhood has been shattered by the sounds of gunshots and wild, out-of-control parties coming from that building over there, the Umbrella Hotel. The hotel industry, like pretty much every other industry in the world, is taking a big hit right now. So the Umbrella Hotel has found a loophole to get around this crisis right now, and that is by renting out blocks of rooms to people so that they can throw out-of-control parties for low rate. And the noise of these parties is the least of our issues. I've seen videos of fireworks being launched from the hotel rooms. What's to say that one of these fireworks lands in the wrong area? One of the neighboring buildings starts a fire. One of my neighbors had a bottle thrown at their apartment window, landed on their fire escape. In my apartment, I have like a bed next to my windows facing the outdoors. What if someone was sleeping next to the window? It shatters all over them. They get broken glass on them. 82nd Avenue has been a lot of double parking going on. I heard that the MTA had to reroute their buses a couple weeks ago to get around this. What if that was an ambulance that was responding to a medical emergency where every second counted and someone tragically lost their life? And then, of course, to top it all off, we had, as most of you are probably aware of, we had 2 shootings within the span of 1 month. Thankfully, no one was killed, and the officers from the 102nd Precinct were able to apprehend some suspects. But who's to say that the next, give it up. But who's to say that the next shooting is going to be fatal? And on top of that, if you go walk to that hotel right now, they haven't even bothered to repair the bullet holes. There's a reminder of the shooting. They have blue tape over it. That's it. That's good enough for them. I've seen pictures and videos of the parties that go on there. It's a hotel room, 10, 15 people in there. No one's wearing a mask. All it takes is one person to show up there and infect the entire room. And these parties aren't in a vacuum. All it takes is one person to leave that party, go to that great new deli over there, which has great sandwiches, by the way. And one of us is there, we get infected, we bring it home to our families, and we get them sick. So this is a major, major public health issue. We are still in the middle of a pandemic here. We have Elmhurst Hospital 4 miles from here. We have Jamaica Hospital 1 mile down the road. Go talk to the doctors and nurses there. Let's talk to them about COVID. They can tell you how serious this was. I had one of my neighbors who contracted COVID and tragically passed away. So this is still a very, very major issue. The owner of the building, he doesn't live in the neighborhood. He must have a huge portfolio because the hotel has not paid rent in 6 months and he doesn't seem to care. The owners of the hotel, they don't live in the neighborhood. They're making money. They don't care. So, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, they must go. We have to get rid of these people. So the question is now how do we do that? The answer is we have to get City Hall and everyone's favorite mayor, Bill de Blasio, to shut it down. You can laugh, it's okay. It's fine. But the way we do that right now is they're not taking notice. So we need to pressure them, call City Hall, call the mayor's office. We have a group of elected officials who've been great. Daniel Roosevelt can't be here today, but his chief of staff is here, has been great. Reach out to him. We have Karen Koslowitz here, or not here, but her office. Just reach out to your elected officials, and we got to keep the pressure on. Make sure this stays on their radar. And Donovan Richards, of course, yes, our hopefully borough president coming up. Come talk to me after the rally if you want. I'll give you my email address. I'll let you know what we can do to keep the pressure going. And I just want to remind everyone, this is our rally. If anyone wants to show up and voice their concerns, please let us know. This is a space for us to share our concerns with the community, how the Umbrella Hotel has affected us. Just make sure you wear your mask. Thank you. We're going to have our future borough president, Mr. Donovan Richards.
Let's give it up for Mark. He's hit the ground running already. But good to see so many friends here. And this is not a new fight, my friends. This is a fight that has been going on for almost 2 decades here in Queens, and I represent, if you don't know, I represent near JFK Airport, so you can imagine how many of these type of facilities we see, and we have to fight on a daily basis to keep out of our communities to protect our qualities of life. And often it's the same exact story. It's these unscrupulous developers who come in, who see an easy way out, and especially during hard times, find a way to make money easily at the expense of our communities to fill rooms. I'll tell you the formula that has continuously worked for us, specifically in South Queens, as we just shut down another one of these facilities not too long ago. The answer is you. So, I'll say that again. The answer is you. If you are consistent, if you care deeply about this, the NYPD, I know, certainly cares about this issue, but they will hear you louder. If you care about this issue, your elected officials will hear you loudly on this issue. And it is our jobs to be held accountable to ensure that we are responsive to the issues happening here. Now, one, just so you know, policy we were looking at, and it's a bill that I was actually looking to sponsor, and it's a bill that hopefully will move through the council eventually, and this bill would require a special permit for all of these as-of-right hotels that come up across our city. It would have been a blanket special permit requirement. And why is that important? Because that gives us an opportunity for it to go through a review process, which is very important, which means that these sort of facilities that find their way in our communities would have to then get city council approval. And why is that important? And not only city council, but community board, they would have to come speak to the community. It's important because it's a way to make sure we can have these hard conversations on what are your real intentions when you move into our communities. And if you cannot show us a pathway forward that shows that you're going to be able to maintain your hotel, make sure that the public safety of communities are not jeopardized, if that's not happening, then the answer would be no to these sort of facilities coming in. So that's the long-term bird's eye view that we hope to see move through the city council eventually, whether I'm there or not next year. And then secondly, we need to hold the owner accountable. It's good enough to talk to the manager, but I'll just give you one of our secrets, and this is something we did a few years ago when we had an unscrupulous hotel owner try to build a facility across the street from one of my high schools, a hot sheet motel. I'm a Christian, so I'm not going to tell you what a hot sheet motel is, but it rents by the hour. All right. So one of the things we did is we showed up at Mr. Gandhi's house. His name was Gandhi, the owner of this facility. We literally showed up to his house in Little Neck, and he was going to call the police on us, but little did he know that we had already called the police to alert them that we would be marching in front of his house. And we embarrassed him in front of his neighbors to the point he actually agreed to actually sell the facility. And that fight continued. But the bottom line is we have to keep that pressure on. I want you to know that you have a partner in this fight that will be working hard. We did do a call I believe Friday or Thursday last week to discuss this matter, and we'll be following through with all of the elected officials to take some tangible action on this. So you're stronger together, keep rallying, and I look forward to the next tangible steps. And I want you to know that you will have a friend here in Borough Hall. And I daggone sure ain't going to have that happening across the street from my office. So I look forward to working with all of you as we move through this struggle. Thank you, Mark.
I want to call up Andrea Crawford from Community Board 9.
Queens Hospital, which is 2 miles from this location, and takes care of this neighborhood. And we, contrary to popular belief, were the hardest hit in the entire system. So when we talk about parties, etc., going on at the Umbrella Hotel, this is a healthcare crisis. This is a community crisis. This is a crime crisis. When this hotel first went up, it was my reign of terror in the community board. I was chair, and we had nothing but issues with the developer who was building as of right. He has I think 2 or 3 other hotels, boutique hotels in the city that have similar problems. He went after the Hampton House people. He was saying that it was funny, their garage was impeding on his area because of the way it vented. He did everything he could to throw up roadblocks because we knew what was going to happen here. He has actually never operated this hotel. So he ceded it over immediately. It was the Comfort Inn. We know we had issues going on with the Comfort Inn. And now it's the Umbrella, which has a sister hotel in the Bronx, which has the same issues. By the way, we are how many blocks? A few blocks from the DA's office. I keep questioning where our DA is on this. Where is Melinda Katz on this? She sat in this building for 8 years and was the council member for this community as well. And she is doing nothing about this hotel. I understand, I'm a lawyer, I get investigations and everything else. We have heard nothing from her. We have heard no support from her office. The 102 has been fantastic, but their hands get bound because I don't know if they're getting the support they need from the DA's office. So what do we need to do? As our next borough president, who is the epitome of cool under pressure, how does he look so crisp, has said we need to continue with the pressure. I know how stressful this is for everybody. I know that it's amplified by what we're going through. Being out here is very difficult for me. I'm not doing well in crowds these days after living through a hospital during the pandemic because my fear is that people will get lax. They'll drop their masks because not so many people are getting sick anymore. The virus is out there, and the virus breeds in environments where people are on top of each other, are not masked, are intoxicated, and then those people go home to their communities. And that ends up being a super spreader event. They're young. They may not physically get ill, but young people do die from this, by the way, especially the demographics that live in our community. The Indo-Caribbean, African American, and Hispanic communities were hit terribly, terribly hard by this virus. So people are going home, they may be infected, and then they infect their family and everyone else around them. That is besides the criminality that's going on in there. This is a good community. Queens as a borough is a good community. We are filled with love and light and things that this pandemic has brought out, the goodness of people. We need to target the dark. And that's what is happening over there. It is a danger. It is a health problem. It is a criminal problem. And we need to stay on top of everyone who can effectuate that. And the way we do it is never letting up, like Donovan said, never letting up our voices, because that's what we have. We have our voices and we have our voting bloc. So even though there are people who term limited out, there are new people who are going for those spots, right? We need to let them know what is expected of them when they come into our community. So thank you to everyone for coming on this really sticky Sunday. Stay safe, wear your mask, be kind to each other, and let's stay up on where we're going and not lose sight of the pressure that we're placing on everyone. Thank you.
I'm Ethan Felder. I'm an elected district leader here in Forest Hills and Kew Gardens. I also serve on the community board. And I have to say, through my service on the community board, what we need is this. Who here is from Forest Hills? So we got some, but we need more from Forest Hills at a rally like this. Is that fair to say? We're one community. What happens 2 blocks from here at that hotel is going to matter in Forest Hills. It's going to matter in Richmond Hill. It's going to matter in Rego Park. As the future borough president said, the answer is us. And it's right here in spaces like this, demanding that the mayor and our elected officials take this seriously. It has to be said. And I'm gonna, make a few people upset. Where is our local council member here today? Where is our local assembly member here today? Where is our local state senator here today? I got brought to this issue from a childhood friend. Can we give a round of applause to Malka Frankel, our community leader here at Kew Gardens? This is a community that we all love. And I got to attend a meeting at Borough Hall right here about 10 days ago with our elected officials and the police precinct. And the police precinct was essentially pleading with the elected officials to do something to come to their assistance because they didn't feel like they had control over the situation at the hotel. Our elected officials since then have written a letter to the mayor asking for a meeting. So far, there's been no meeting. There's only been a letter. We here today have candidates who seek to represent us. We need to be very careful about who we're electing and how they're going to go about representing us here today. When it comes to issues like this, when it comes to many other issues. How do you intend to do the job for the people? Right now, leadership by letter is not leadership at all. I've been on the community board for about 4 years now, and it heartens me to see us here today. This has been a fight led by everyday people and community leaders. And we've been engaging community on something that really matters because we don't want anyone to get killed. We don't want anyone to be hurt. We don't want residents to be losing sleep, to have to worry about an elderly parent or neighbor being hit by a stray bullet. It's just not tolerable. It's not tolerable here in Kew Gardens. It's not tolerable here in Jamaica. It's not tolerable in Far Rockaway. Again, the pressure has to be kept up. We have to bring everything that we have to bear. The fight goes on. Our community matters. And each and every one of us is the solution. Never forget that. Never forget that. Thank you.
I've lived in the Hampton House for 42 years. Can you hear me now? Moved from the Bronx to a nice, quiet, stable neighborhood. Now I'm watching our nice, stable, quiet neighborhood deteriorate thanks to the reckless conduct by the hotel owners. Everything went right in this neighborhood for us until 2008. That's when we got the notice that there would be a 21-story mixed-use building. We really had no grounds to protest the apartment portion, but the community was extremely concerned about the hotel portion. So close to PS 99, transients. Developer said this will be a 5-star hotel. We could never quite grasp why you would put a 5-star hotel in the middle of a block with 2 apartments, private homes. It just made no sense to us, but We were assured that it would be a grand hotel, the Queen Savoy. We still express concern that an economic turndown is what will, to coin Donovan's words, turn it into a hot sheet hotel. Whatever happened, the building went ahead. We never got the five-star hotel. What we got was eventually the Hotel Louis that opened in early 2017. There was not too much to say about that. It didn't seem to attract too much business. Then the Comfort Inn came in, and in October 2017, the Comfort Inn welcomed a batch of homeless people without any input from the community whatsoever. There was a deal that was made, because they were all homeless men, to bring in homeless families with small children. This was built as a hotel. You really can't have toddlers there. How many times did we have to call 911 where we see from our apartment building a 2-year-old and the smaller brother or sister dangling out the window because there are no bars? In any event, the homeless situation was put to rest in early 2019. Comfort Inn started to market itself as an airport hotel, which was definitely not the five-star hotel that they tried to convince us would be a benefit to the community. Pandemic starts in about March of 2020. All of us go into quarantine, so you have people working at home, school, children remote learning at home, infants, babies who need to sleep, elderly people. That's when the hotel decided that they were going to take advantage and exploit a bad situation and turn this into an illicit venue where the clubs and the bars aren't open anymore. So now we've got Party Central. You've got 20, 30 people crammed into these rooms. No mask, no social distancing. The hotel, which claims that they didn't know about it, had to be aware of what was going on because they unlocked the doors to the adjacent rooms. So you could have up to 50, God knows how many people. I couldn't even count, and this is right across from my living room. In any event, I just want to share with you my own personal story about how this hotel has impacted me. I took care of my 93-year-old father, who was a Korean War vet, a civil servant, and just an all-around wonderful, regular guy who was aging at home. For me, being a caregiver, it's a difficult job under the best of circumstances. But imagine from about midnight until 6 a.m., loud, pulsing music, screaming, shrieking. My father had leukemia. He was going into more advanced dementia. The noise would trigger these awful dementia episodes that he thought that there was an evacuation because of the noise. He would get agitated, upset, out of bed. I was up all night, night after night after night, taking care of him, trying to get him over and calm him down. But this went on every single night, practically, until his final hospitalization and when I lost him last month. So they made his last months sheer hell, and he did not deserve that, nor did I deserve that, to be his caretaker. They don't care about anybody. That was demonstrated whenever I tried to call the hotel. I figured maybe I would appeal to whatever human compassion they had. "We'll take care of it, madam." The noise went on. "I'm new here. I can't do anything. I'm the only person here showing." No night manager, no security, no supervision. One person told me to shut up and get off the phone. Eventually, you couldn't call them anymore. They simply stopped taking calls from the community. You needed to have a password. Now, in my personal situation, I think that's indicative of just how low they hold us, what sheer contempt that they have for us. You can also tell that by the fact that you've had 2 shootings at this hotel in so many months. The notoriety from these shootings. Do they care? No. They're using the 102nd Precinct as their own security squad. They don't hire any security, and the police have to be here at all hours of the day At a time that there's a crime wave in New York, they have to siphon off the resources of the police department to take care of a private enterprise that simply doesn't care. It's all profit. They care for nothing except the money. They have extended their middle finger to this community time after time, and it is time for it to stop. So what can we do in order to reclaim our neighborhood? The first goal is to shut this down, and to shut it down totally, completely, without any recourse of reopening. And to that extent, Mr. Mayor, I'm calling upon you, give the authorization to the city agencies. Don't delay any further. Give that authorization now. Let them go there, and whatever it needs to take, whether it's yanking their certificate of occupancy, shut this thing down sooner than later.
So what can you do? What kind of action for neighbor safety and interaction? How will you get your satisfaction that your neighborhood belongs to you and me? Share expertise and don't stop talking, and say hello to us when you see us out here walking. And beware of dreams that the owner's hawking. They're just stories he sells to you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. We live together, even if you buy land. Even if it is in the skyland. You must think of our community. Tell all your friends, and then tell others.
I live one block down there. I've been in this neighborhood for 53 years. I know a lot of you. I love a lot of you. And I love the 102 because if it hadn't been for them, I would have been in deep trouble. So you've got to keep up what you're doing. You've been very good at organizing, and we'll do whatever we can to help you. But keep it up. This is a disaster. I have pictures. I put pictures over there. Thank you.
All right, that's all we have for speakers today. I just want to let everyone know our call to action is please contact our elected officials. Keep the pressure on. Don't let them forget about this. It's up to City Hall to shut this down. That is a focus. Please keep up the pressure. You can come talk to me. I'll give you my email address. I'll let you know who we got to talk to make sure we keep the pressure on. Make sure they don't forget. Thank you all for coming out so much. Appreciate it.
Could you state and spell your name?
Yeah, Mark Morrill. Last name is Morrill.
And okay, your email?
I'm sorry, email is districtleadermorrill, Morrill, @gmail.com.
And district leader, what means what?
It's a Democratic Party position. It's about community engagement, letting voters know how to affect change that they want to see in their local government. We vote on judges. We're part of the Queens County Executive Board.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.